Your life is like a ship, and your thoughts are the rudder. They control and drive your ship anywhere you want it to go. We're going to look today at what Neville Goddard had to say about this and how it can change the life you're living and turn it around 180 degrees, and you can live in a whole new direction. What Neville said is that the life you are living today is the thoughts that you were thinking yesterday. Now, Joe Dispenza says this same thing. Joe puts it like this. He says that our thoughts become things. And the process is when we think a thought and we attach in a strong emotion, a feeling to that thought, when we wrap those things together, they become powerful, negative or positive in our life. And it causes us to begin to live by a set of behaviors, actions. And because we live by those behaviors, those actions get wrapped in, those behaviors get wrapped in, and they become our belief system. It's what we believe about ourselves, about how life works, about how source energy, God works. We begin to believe that, and we stay in this loop of a life that we live one day on top of another that are all exactly the same. And the reason we're living that life is just what Neville Goddard said. It's because the thoughts we thought yesterday is the life we're living today. Our thoughts are the rudder of the ship, and they're driving our life in whatever direction we're thinking. And the reason you're stuck in this cycle that you're in right now, and you can't have everything you want out of life, you aren't living the life you want to live, the life of peace, the life of joy, the life of contentment, the good life, is because you've got the rudder turned in the wrong direction. The thoughts are going the wrong way, but you can turn the rudder and take the ship in a 180-degree arc. It's going to take a little bit because a big ship takes a long time to turn, right? You've been thinking this way for many, many years, but you can turn the ship around and you can go in a whole new direction. Now, how do we do that? How do we change our thinking? How do we think new thoughts? How do we reprogram our subconscious? Because that's essentially what you have to do to think when you're not thinking. Did you know 95% of the thoughts you think and the actions you take and the things you do in life are happening at a subconscious level? Only about 5% of your thinking is critical thinking. It's the mind choosing to think. Most of our life's pre-programmed, but the good news is you can reprogram the pre-program and you can live a brand new life. You can make that rudder turn in any direction you want it to turn. And here's how we do it. We're going way back now, all the way back from Joe, back past Neville, who lived a long time ago, further back than that, all the way back to Jesus, all the way back to God, all the way back to the ancient scriptures. And here's what the ancient scriptures says. As a person thinks, so are they. As a man thinks, so is he. If you have an old school version of the scriptures, the way you think is what you are. Your mind is the rudder. That's exactly what it's talking about. It's driving the ship. Whatever thoughts you're thinking, that's what's becoming reality in your life. If you want to change the reality, as Joe Dispenza says, if you want a new personal reality, you have to create a new personality. And we do that by taking a hold of the rudder of our thoughts and saying, I won't think that anymore. Now, at a very practical level, here's how this happens. When you get up in the morning, you need to start telling yourself you're a new person. You need to start thinking about the life that you want to be living, not the life that you've been living. And you need to think it in such a way that you become that person. You become that life. I love Porsche 911s, and right now I have a Volkswagen Jetta. And do you know, a lot of times as I drive my Jetta, I visualize it being a 911. One day I will have a 911. I have no doubt about it. It has become a reality to me. I can feel it when I drive it, that it is mine. It's just not manifested into my reality just yet. It will, just like so many other things have. But what is the real secret to all this? If you say, hey, I've tried that, Jim, I've tried to visualize, I've tried to believe it, but it doesn't seem to work for me, I'm going to give you a big key that really took it to the next level for me. And it came from this concept of Neville Goddard saying, your yesterday's thoughts or your today's reality. What I began to realize, all the big things that I've really manifested in my own life came with one simple secret. And that secret is detachment. It's letting go of the outcome. When I did that, that's when it manifested. I used to work in a factory job. I've shared this with y'all many times here before. I worked for about a year in that job, trying to eke my way in, hustle my way in, grind my way in to the corporate side of that job, because I thought it would be all these things. I thought it would bring me a job where I had freedom. It would bring me a job where I made better money. It would bring me a job where I wasn't in the dungeon dingy dungeon, that's hard to say, that I was living in with no natural light. It would give me natural light, all these things I wanted. Well, I didn't get the job. And what happened when I didn't get the job? I gave up. I resigned myself to the factory work. I said, this is fine. This is who I am. This is who I'll be. I'll find other outlets. Within 2 months, I manifested the sales job that I now have had for several years. And in that sales job, it was all those things that I'd set as my intention and more. It was better for me, but God had a better plan than I had, a better way of doing it. And I didn't get in on that plan until I, one, set the intention of what I wanted, but two, I let go of the results and left it up to God and said, it's okay. I detached from it. I'm good with it. And do you know what's happened over time in that sales job? As I got into it more and more, and I began to focus more on what I do with you now, coaching here on YouTube and a one-on-one. By the way, if you need some help on your own journey, I do one-on-one coaching. There's a link below. Click on that and I tell you how you can do that. You can even book a free call if you want to do that. We talk a little about it. But what brought me to this place was when I began to see this as the reality that I knew I was designed for and made for. And I began to create that. And little by little, it started to unfold and it started to happen. And now I'm living that reality. And guess what happened with the sales job? Where I used to hustle and grind and worry about month to month how to get bigger and bigger sales and better. I used to really work a lot on that. And I let that go because it became a non-reality, not of importance to me. And guess what happened? Manifested more sales than I ever have in my life, more money than I ever had in my life, more ease in my job, more perfect job satisfaction. I mean, my job is almost as perfect as you can get. If it wasn't for desiring more and connecting with you more, I could probably do it the rest of my life and make great money at it. But when I let all of that go, all of that abundance began to flow in it. Detachment is where it's at, y'all. Set the intention on what you want and know that the thoughts you think today are going to be your reality tomorrow. The thoughts that you thought yesterday are your reality today, but let go of any significant needed outcome. Like for me, I've had to learn to let go with coaching of I've got to have this many clients, I've got to have this many views on YouTube, I've got to get to this level of subscribers. All of that was so important to me for so long. And don't get me wrong, I still struggle with some of that, but I've learned to let so much of that go. And guess what's going to happen? I'm going to go to a whole new level of helping people. I know that, of connecting with people just like you. I know that. Why? Because detachment is really the secret. Put your hand on the rudder of the ship of your thoughts today. Turn them in the direction you want to go. Wait on the turn to get there and be okay with wherever the boat takes you next. And you, my friend, are about to manifest the life of your dreams.